Giant Sparrow is one of my favorite development teams in the entire industry. After hitting the scene in 2012 with the incredible The Unfinished Swan, they followed that 5 years later with What Remains of Edith Finch. Released in 2017, this game has gone on to become one of my favorite games of all time, and truly, in my opinion, one of the best games ever created. From the design, the characters, to the wide range of gameplay, this game is a perfect example of doing so much with so little. All taking place in one house and its surrounding land, and needing only 2 or so hours to beat, this game makes the most of every second that it has with you. A good game is made off of its premise, and this game is one of the best ones out there. A girl named Edith returning to her family home. We know very little about her and her family as we start the game, and throughout, we learn about the family and the tragedies that have happened alongside our leading lady. These stories are told through heavy narration as we play through different levels, all tailored to the individual family members, all leading to one thing: death. This game is dark. The tragedy of this family is death. All family members die eventually, most young and most in incredibly weird ways. Edith is learning about her family here too, as many of these stories were hidden from her while she was growing up. Death is a part of life, but for the Finch family, it's something that's haunted them. It's become a family legend, a curse that haunts the family and results in everyone dying before they really should. This ranges from babies to little girls to grown adults who hide from the world to the elderly. There's no getting around it, as some family members have even tried. There's also a lack of proof. It's conveyed to us throughout the game that this is all but a theory. Some in the family don't even believe it, and Edith herself even questions if the deaths themselves are exaggerated or simply what her family believed to have happened. Either way, the game is dark. Many of these family members are shown to be down-to-earth, real people that were taken way too early, sometimes in front of each other. Going through each of these experiences brings a wave of wonder as we explore new lenses the game gives to us, going through these characters' journeys leading right up until their death, but with the dread of what's coming. Only one character's fate is left in the air, while the rest, well, we know what happened. A story simply on death is most likely too depressing to work as a game. There needs to be something gripping, and while exploring the house in a linear yet open fashion is something, it's not enough. This game gives us a new gameplay lens for each and every family member we play. It's truly incredible to be a baby in a bathtub seeing life how they would, to then being a king ruling his kingdom, to then being in a horror comic. The difference from one gameplay loop to the next is unlike anything I've ever seen before in a game. Again, this game moves fast and can take as little as an hour and a half to beat, and you don't feel it at all because each family member's death story is framed so differently from the next one. While walking around the house and interacting with objects is nothing new and has been done many times before, it's simply a means to get from one story to the next, and that's where the true magic happens. One of the best parts of the game is a nod to The Unfinished Swan, Giant Sparrow's first game, but unlike other Easter eggs, this game goes all in. So much so, it basically connects the two games in the same universe. And although Edith questions if these stories are true to begin with, this story is unlike any other. Milton is the one and only family member at the time of this game's start that isn't declared dead. He goes missing, and while many assume he's dead, his mother never did. We learn through the story of his connection to being the Unfinished Swan's creator, basically, through music, through visuals, through dialogue. It's truly incredible to see a game not only honor a game that came before it, but to take the next step to fully induct them into the same world. It's easily one of my favorite parts of the game and a standout moment. I'm not sure if a game like this works without its leading protagonist. Edith Finch is a character done differently than almost any other character ever created. We play as her in a first-person perspective, so her entire character has to come through her voice, and it does. She conveys her emotions perfectly, and she has a part to play here too. Like I said before, she's learning much of this for the first time along with us. She's writing down her discoveries, but the reason why is fed to us over the course of the game. It's revealed through this that Edith is pregnant, 22 weeks in fact. Her mother is dead, and she's the last of the Finch family. She's writing the tales of her family, their stories, to deliver to her child, only if she's not able to tell it herself. The ending of the game reveals Edith did in fact die in childbirth, and her journal is the only thing capable of passing down the Finch family story. The last Finch member now dead, now passing it to the next last Finch member, her child. The game's sad, it's dark, and Edith is our lens to it. To lose her Sure, it was rough too, but ultimately a necessary choice, further pushing the idea of, is this really a curse or was it made to be a curse in this family's head? The answer isn't given to us. I've never played a game like What Remains of Edith Finch. While it takes inspiration from other games, most notably, in my opinion, Gone Home, it stands on its own remarkably well. The game is full of wonder, the visuals pop, the music is perfect in every single moment. The game is aged remarkably well and will always stand up because it stands on differing gameplay from one moment to the next and a story unlike any we've seen, and delivered to us in a way that doesn't work unless everything else comes together. Giant Sparrow has been quiet ever since. It's been 5 years and we have next to nothing on their next game, but I can tell you, Giant Sparrow is without a doubt one of the best teams on the planet, and when their next game releases, it's a day one buy for me without question. What Remains of Edith Finch stood out to me from the moment I first played it in 2017. 5 years later, jumping back in, I was blown away with such high quality coming from such a tiny team. Well guys, let me know what you think about this game in the comments below. Suggest any other games or movies you want me to cover in the future for this series. Thank you so much for the support. I truly love making these kind of videos, and more are coming every couple weeks I want to shoot for. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.